morning, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. One thing I do want to mention, though, is if you need a refresher on anything that we have conversation about, these recordings are on 15minuteswithlori.com. We just started recording them recently, and just want to make sure that if you need a refresher to go back to those. So who has received the email from the National Association of Realtors and Maris? Go ahead and put in the chat, say yes if you did and no if you did not. So yes if you received the email from NAR and from Maris, and no if you did not. So good. How many of you actually read through them? And that's what we're going to do this morning, and I'm going to give an explanation of what they truly mean, because I think there's some confusion. So the National Association of Realtors put out that there is a multiple listing options for seller. The first one is the one that we've had for a while. It's called office exclusive. Is an exempt listing, but I'm going to define exempt, everyone, okay? Where the seller has directed that their property not be disseminated through the MLS and not be publicly marketed. The office exclusive listing shall be filed with the MLS, but not disseminated to the other participants and subscribers. So that means that when you put in office exclusive, it's only going to be seen by our company, period. It does still have to go into the MLS. And by the way, incomplete is not a status in Maris. That means that you don't have a listing yet and you're just starting to fill it out. So that does not meet the criteria that the MLS has to enter a listing. I just want to make sure everyone is clear on that, okay? So the office exclusive, again, is only marketed to through the MLS and seen by our company, but it is not seen by other companies. No sign, no flyers, nothing on social media, nothing on a different website like Zillow or Realtor.com, nothing like that, okay? We're going to talk more about that one in a little bit. Delayed marketing is the new status that is coming about. Maris will be launching it no later than September, I think it was either 15th or 30th, but they have the right to implement it at any time. So we've got to make sure that we're watching, for when we start this status. So delayed marketing is an exempt listing where the seller has directed the listing broker to delay the public marketing of that listing through IDX syndication for any period as allowed by the local MLS in its unfettered discretion. A delayed marketing listing shall be filed with the MLS and does not preclude the listing firm from marketing the listing in a manner consistent with the seller's choice. So with the delayed marketing, it is going to go out to other companies, but again, it's not going to go through IDX to any websites. It's not going to go to your website, our website, ColdwellBanker.com, Realtor.com, Zillow, other brokers. It is not going to go to any websites through IDX, okay? However, if the seller wants you to do any marketing as far as, going onto your social media page and putting a picture of the property and saying, I have this great property for sale, whatever you want to do. You can do that. It just can't go through IDX, meaning it can't go to any of our websites through IDX. No Realtor.com, Zillow, no other companies, anything like that. Okay. However, so both of those are considered exempt listings. So office exclusive and delayed marketing are considered exempt listings. But be careful of the term exempt, because it doesn't mean that it should not go into the MLS. It has to go into the MLS according to Maris's guidelines. So if it's going to be marketed in any way, say you're doing the delayed marketing. If you put something out on social media, you can do that, but it's still considered exempt because it's not going through IDX. Office exclusive, no marketing, period. None. Okay. So exempt listings disclosures. The filing of an exempt listing, office exclusive, or delayed marketing with the MLS must be pursuant to a certification obtained by the listing broker from the seller, which includes, and I'll go over those in just a second. We have an office exclusive form right now that the client needs to sign and one of the managers need to sign. The broker officers must sign that, okay? We do not have one for the delayed marketing yet, but I'm gonna bet that's gonna come any day. If it hasn't already, I just haven't seen it myself, okay? Okay, so disclosure about the professional relationship between the participant and the seller. Acknowledgement that the seller understands the MLS benefits they're waiving or delaying with the exempt listing, such as broad and immediate exposure of their listing through the MLS, and confirmation of the seller's decision that their listing not be publicly marketed and disseminated by the MLS as an office exclusive listing, or that their listing will not have immediate public marketing through IDX and syndication as delayed marketing. Multiple listing options for sellers requirements only apply to the listing that are subject to mandatory submission pursuant to the MLS local rules. So you've got to make sure that your client fully understands that they are not getting full exposure to buyers and sellers. And it could damper, the value that they bring in, the offers that they bring in, because you're not, instead of, having one offer, like this weekend, an agent told me that their listing got 7 offers. Okay. So if it's not being publicly marketed, it could be that they don't get full value for their home. Doesn't mean they won't, but it is the seller's choice. It is not to be held back just because, we're waiting for open houses or we're waiting for whatever. I understand if you're getting photos, maybe they're replacing carpet, things like that, and you want to secure it. But we've got to make sure that the sellers understand what these office exclusive listings truly mean, okay? Then Mayor's put out an email that says, on March 25th, the National Association of Realtors announced key changes to the Clear Cooperation governing privacy and marketing of listings on the MLS. They say, I am pleased to share that following direct conversations with President Sears, which is the National Association of Realtors, public marketing of a property in office exclusive status should not include one-to-one communication between brokerages. The mayor's position had been adopted in the new NAR rules. Effective immediately, mayors will no longer view one-to-one communication as a violation of the CCP, which is for office exclusive policy. That means you can have a conversation with a broker outside of the company while it's an office exclusive, and it can stay an office exclusive. But that's just a one-to-one conversation. So if you heard, if you had a agent show a property that you have listed and it didn't quite fit the needs of their client, you can contact that agent and say, I have one over at 123 Main Street, an office exclusive. However, if they're going to show it, then it needs to go into active status. But you can have the conversation with them without putting it into active status, okay? Stay tuned for more information on how Mayor's rules and regulations will reflect the new NAR changes, including the multiple listing options for sellers policy. Examples of communication not permitted when a property is in office exclusive status. An email about office exclusive property with more than one recipient from another brokerage, including blind copying. Sharing an office exclusive property on a conference call, video conference, or live discussions with more than 2 parties from a different brokerage. Advertising an office exclusive listing on a website or social media. So office exclusive is still not being marketed. And if you have a one-to-one conversation with an agent, that can consist of a phone call or an email, but it cannot be a blast. There cannot be more than 2 parties from another brokerage involved, and you cannot blind copy it, okay? I know I just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff in a short period of time. We've got 4 minutes left. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask about this?
Lori,
I
real
do.
quick. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick question. So if we are showing a buyer an office exclusive for another agency, okay, and we want to write on it, I mean, do we just conduct business as normal with the brokers? You know, I mean, it's how does that work?
So if another company has it listed as office exclusive and they verbally told you or emailed you that they have this property, if you call them or email them back, it can stay an office exclusive.
Okay.
If you go to show it, that brokerage needs to activate that listing. Okay. If they don't, that's on them.
Right.
You know, but we have to follow the guidelines. So if the tables are reversed, Melissa, and you have the listing and you have a one-to-one conversation with a broker or an agent from another brokerage, and they want to show the property, as soon as they make the appointment or want to make the appointment, it has to be activated. Okay. But then from there on, yes, business as usual.
And if we're writing on it, because I think I'm writing on one today that's office exclusive, we can't see that in the MLS, correct?
Well, if you showed it, it should be activated.
Right.
And if it's not, you need to call the agent and say, hey, you need to activate that since I showed it. But on the other hand, can you send me a copy of the listing? Because when you have it in office exclusive, you, the listing agent, can download a copy of the MLS sheet.
Right.
Okay. Steve, did you have a question? I heard you speak up earlier.
Yeah, I was just, what if I know somebody from 2 or 3 different offices? Can I individually contact each?
Yes, you can. You just can't do it in a group setting. So you can contact each one individually and say, I have 123 Main Street listed. And you can do that, yes. If you start making phone calls, you know, like to 100 agents in one day, letting them know, I think that's probably a gray area for that. So be careful of that. But you can't do mass emails either. So what other questions does anybody have? Did that answer your question, Steve?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Any other questions? Bill, is there anything you'd like to share this morning?
No, you covered it. I mean, there's a lot of information, and like Lori said, if you have questions, reach out to us. I mean, this is ever changing, and there'll probably be more, stuff coming down the pipe. So
that's right. Mark, is there anything you'd like to share?
No, and I had to step away for a little bit, so I missed a lot of it.
That's okay. It's recorded. You can go back and watch it. Just so you all know, next week I am going to a broker forum. I think, Bill, you probably might be too. And we will get more answers then, if not before. So reach out anytime. Visit 15minuteswithlori.com. If you have questions, send them in. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call us, email us, text us, whichever you prefer. Okay? It's 15 after the hour. So you all have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Bye.